Hi, it's me again, and I'm back with another one of my favourite types of videos to do, the letters from TV licensing. I love doing these videos because so many people out there who are new to the whole TV license thing receive these letters because they're not paying it for whatever reason at the minute, and they get a bit scared by it. So they stumble across these videos when they Google it and get the reassurance they need about these letters because they're not as scary as they make out. So today's one has got this headline on it, look. As we still haven't heard from you, an officer will visit your property soon. Now, to my mind, and I admit I'm a little bit sick and twisted, that sounds like a threat. Does that not sound like a threat to you? You've ignored us, so we're gonna send the boys round. That's what that headline says. How do they get away with that? How do they get away with that? Now, if you've received this letter and you read that and you think an officer's going to visit me, I'm bang in trouble here, stick with me, because it's not as bad as you think. Dear Sir, Madam, your property is unlicensed. An officer has now been scheduled to visit this address to confirm your circumstances. Usually these letters, they assume guilt. They assume you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. So why are you not paying for the TV licence fee if you're watching telly? Not as bad. That's kind of circumventing the accusation a bit there, isn't it? An officer has been scheduled to visit this address to confirm your circumstances. It doesn't help, but it's not as threatening as some of them are. Right, let's read on. Why are you being visited? We must ensure that everyone who needs a license has one. If you're watching and recording programs that are being shown, blah, 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 okay. If an officer finds you to be watching, recording or downloading TV illegally, you risk prosecution and a fine. So fair enough, right? If you watch or record anything that's been broadcast or you use BBC iPlayer, you do require a television licence and you should pay it. I never condone watching stuff you shouldn't be watching without the licence. That's fair enough. But why do you need to come to my house to find that out? If I'm not talking to you, if I haven't told you I don't require a licence and I'm just ignoring your letters, then that's my business. Who are you to come knocking on my door to ask me in person? Now, you may very well get a visit. If you don't pay the TV licence fee, you may get a visit. I've had visits, many people have had visits, right? But don't worry, these people aren't the police. They're not bailiffs. They're no one important. They are door-to-door salesmen. It says so on the TV licensing website itself. It says they have no powers. They can't put their foot in the door. They can't keep knocking all day demanding to come into your house. So if you get one, knock on your door and you're opening, go, who are you? I am from TV licensing. Come off. Go, no thanks, mate. And you close the door. They can't put the foot in the door. They can't keep banging. All they can do is grow a bit of an attitude. Some of them have been known to swear back at your door at you and toddle off and try and find some easier prey. That's all they can do. They don't have any powers of entry. They may ask to come in. They may ask you to sign something. Do not talk to them to get to that stage for a start. If you accidentally did, say no. You're not coming in, not signing anything. Go. I'm closing the door now. That's it. Do not engage with these people. For a living, they talk to people and twist their words. They earn commission. It's the wrong way to pay them, really, via commission, because they're incentivized to sell you a license. They want to earn their commission, right? They're commission-based salespeople. And that can twist things up. So if you sign something and you don't get a copy of it or you don't know what you're signing, because how would you know what these forms are, right? How do you know they're not going to fill in some details after the fact? I've heard of it happening. I've heard of it. Don't get involved with these people. Don't talk to them. Don't sign anything. Do not ever let them into your house. Just let them go away. It sounds scary. If you're new to all of this, that sounds a bit intimidating and a bit scary. I promise you it's not. Imagine the way you have to think about these people, right? Imagine they're vacuum cleaner salesmen. You know, back in the old days, you used to get door-to-door vacuum cleaners. I'm not that old, honestly, but they did exist. They've knocked on the door. Do you want to buy a vacuum? No, you're right, thanks, mate. And you close the door. That's all it is. It's not intimidating. It's not scary. All you're doing is saying no thank you to a door-to-door salesman and going back to your life. Don't be scared by it. They're not scary. They like to make you think they're scary, but they're not scary. How to stop this visit? Do one of the following immediately. Buy a TV licence, yeah, funny that. Move an existing licence. And the very last bit on the page, the first time they've mentioned it, tell us you don't need a licence. Now, you can tell them. You can tell them. I did it for years. Only about 6 years I did it for. It's called a no licence needed declaration. And for 2 years, it stops most of the shitty letters. But it doesn't stop you getting a visit. In fact, in my mind, I think it guarantees you getting a visit. Because this is addressed to the present occupier and it says, Dear Sir, Madam. So they don't know anyone's at that address. But if you do the no licence needed declaration form, they now know that you're at that address. They know you're open to a conversation about it and that you don't pay the license fee. So one of these door-to-door salesmen is going to think, oh, jackpot, and head straight for your house. If you don't talk to them, you don't have to tell them you don't need a license. You can just ignore them. You're perfectly within your rights to completely ignore them. And if you do that, they don't know anyone's at that address. They don't have detection equipment. It's a myth. They don't know anyone's at that address. So if you're in a small town or a little village or something, and there's not many license-free people there, are they going to send a goon all the way out using his petrol up to come knock on your door just to get a door closed in his face or not answered at all? No. But if you tell them you don't need a license and they have all your details and they know you're open to conversing, you might risk it because there's a chance of a sale there. There's a 1 in 8 chance of a sale there for them. So, yeah, I did used to say to everybody, do it. You can do it if you want. That way you go on the official numbers and it does cut down on the letters. But I just don't see the point. I just don't see the point. I don't see the benefit of telling them you don't need. So I don't tell them. I've got loads of letters all stacked up down here to the present occupier. I haven't had a visit yet. Hopefully I will, because I've got cameras on the door. But yeah, I haven't had a visit yet. But I'm not scared of getting one. That's the point. And you shouldn't be either. These letters are written in a way to scare you into paying for a service that you might not need. That's their only goal, is to scare you with these letters. If the letters don't scare you, they may send someone to your property to scare you in person. They want you to buy a service you might not need. If you're not watching a recording, anything's being broadcast or using iPlayer, you don't need a license. Ignore the letters. Ignore them at the door. Done. Get on with your life. Now, I'm never not surprised by some of the content in these letters and how they get away with it. Any other company operating like this would feel the full force of the law come down on it, wouldn't it? But TV licensing get a free pass every single time. So I hope if you've got this letter, I've reassured you a little bit. If you're watching this and you've received some letters and you think they're ones I haven't done, check the playlist because I try and cover as many letters as I can. Do send them over to me. You'll find out how to do that in the description below. If you do happen to get a visit, which is possible, and you've got a video doorbell or a camera above your door like me, and you happen to capture it on film, send it film. It's not the 50s, John. If you happen to capture it, if you happen to record it, send it over to me, and I'll put it on the channel. I like to do the goon videos, and one of the reasons I like to do it is because the goons hate it. They always go to YouTube and ask for takedowns and stuff like that, but they forget that they're being filmed on either public land or on private property, and I have the person who shot it and the owner of the property's permission to use it. So it can't get taken down. It really winds them up. It really winds them up. So if you do happen to capture one, do send it over to me. And as always, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon. Ta-da!